Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Sorry, a little bit scuffed beginning here, but that is simply because, let's fix the team logos as well here. We're live right now for coverage of the Warriors of Æsir, Team WA League of Legends best of 3 against the Doomscrollers, who have in fact stolen our team logo, and I need to figure out. There we go. Okay, best of 3, a couple of bands already. Swain coming out here when they do the draft, in fact. Better this way because you are going to have to wait at least 2 minutes for spectator delay, approximately anyway. So it gives us some time to catch up here. So first off, of course, I'm not playing and casting. I'm, in fact, just casting. So we have Silver, once again, this time subbing in as AD carry. So we will have Silver and Soupbank in the bot lane. Silver AD carry, Soupbank support. Mellow is in top lane. Foldmather back in jungle as per usual. Ulfold back in mid lane as per usual. Heading into the second ban phase here, we can see early on a lot of top lane focus. I know in some of the scouting for the Doomscrollers, Cassante ban was discussed and some additional top lane bans. This Jinx banned away has just been kind of a go-to in this meta in almost every series we've seen, regardless of who plays what. I don't think the Doomscrollers were scouting Silver and particularly banning away the Jinx. I think it's just general. They may have seen that Icewing has played it a bit. I played it, I think, once. Trying to remember if that was just a scrim or not. But anyway, that banned away. Doomscrollers out for the Zac. I think a smart ban against WA. We've had the Zac as a flex pick for Mellow in top lane and Foldmather in jungle, so definitely getting a lot of bang for their buck with that. Or in the next ban is interesting. I know Silver likes playing that top. I'm trying to think. I think Mellow can play it as well, but trying to just continue the top lane bans and make sure the Doomscrollers can't go get a hold of Ornn. A couple of games there for their top laner, DS Lupin. Corky Karma bot lane and Maokai, I assume jungle, already locked in for the Doomscrollers. And Senna down there in bot lane, I believe for Soup, and we'll have to wait and see. I think WA has had a pretty cool draft here with the flex picks as, well, I say that. The last series we played, we did play against a Jarvan top, but I don't know that Mellow is willing to bring that out. I think this is definitely Jarvan going in the jungle for full, but the Swain, Ulfold signature pick, but could go bot lane with Silver. So there's a flex there. With the Senna, I think that's going to go for the Soupbank. I don't know that Silver is looking at that as a potential AD carry pick with the Senna. My guess is that we have Senna support and looking at Swain pivoting mid or bot, depending. It was locked in, and the Corky came in response to that, and then the Karma in response to the Senna. So a lot of counterpick in the bot lane for Doomscrollers, so we'll see how that goes. Now the Victor is seen. So that's locked in for Doomscrollers. They're saving that top lane final pick there for Lupin. So we'll... Okay, and if you're being covered, and that is locked in. All right. So I think that's going to be blind top for Mellow. But again, still keeping up some nice flex picks in the draft. I like that. Generally, I mean, you want to make sure you have comfort. I think you can pick all the flex picks you want. It's not a guaranteed win, but definitely gives you a nice little leg up, at least in the draft. So Victor showing right now. It's a question of if Ulfold likes that as the Swain. Okay. So it looks like they have said, all right, we're going to send Volley Bear top lane for Mellow. That's another flex where they've shown it for Fold or Mellow, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be Jarvan in the jungle, because I don't think they're going to send Jarvan top. So Jarvan in the jungle here for Foldmather. Send the Volley Bear top. That is going to be blind for Mellow, so that gives Lupin his choice of what he likes into the Volley Bear here. And the Aatrox locked in. So this is interesting. Mellow plays a lot of Aatrox as well, so I think knows how the champion works to a pretty good degree, so I'll be curious. That matchup in particular, I don't know. Obviously, Lupin likes the Aatrox into it with that counter pick. But that will be interesting to see because a lot of counter picks came in here for the Doomscrollers. The caveat being Warriors of Æsir did have a lot of flexing available, so the Swain locked in based on scouting Ulfbald and Silver actually coming in last minute. I think there's no way Doomscrollers expect that to go bot, but I believe that's exactly what's happening here. Is Silver is going to pilot that Swain bot into the Corki Karma, and he's going to be paired with Supank's Senna. And Ulfbald's actually going to be bringing in Nefiri mid, and he has that opportunity because he's got that AP bot laner in Silver with the Swain. So pretty interesting draft here. So it is going to be Nefiri into Victor here in mid lane, and then the jungle it's going to be Jarvan and the Maokai. So definitely an interesting one. I think my first thought is that Supank on the Senna, that could prove to be a pretty crucial pick just because, you know, as long as you have the Senna, you have that capability to just stealth and get the Swain out of trouble, because obviously Swain pretty mobile, pretty gankable. You know, you have the Maokai, maybe could look there, but it depends on how the shove goes. I mean, Karma usually helps you get a lot of push if you try, so my assumption would be it goes that way. It depends how Silver and Supank play. But as long as you've got that Curse of the Black Abyss, Senna can make sure that Maokai does not have that twisted advance. You know, he needs to target Swain. He won't be able to do it. Karma cannot use the tether. So outside of just flashing all in, just really hard forcing that engage, I do like the Senna pick there. But I think that is going to be the question, is if they really all pile in bot, you can make something happen, because this is an immobile bot lane that WA is bringing out. But they're not going to be really easy to gank right off the bat. You're going to have to really hard commit, and I know we've been practicing that as a team. Those of you unaware, I've been subbing as AD carry for a couple of games, and at least I've kind of seen some of the strategizing going on, and I know WA's been working a lot on objective control, and usually Foldmather is pretty good about trading objectives as well, so I imagine he will not shy away from grabbing the grubs if there's a bunch of attention thrown down bot lane. Depends on how they want to play this. He's also shown a tendency where, you know, if it's the game plan to play around bot, he can absolutely do that and just basically lane bot as well. So definitely should be pretty interesting to see how things go here. Again, talking about the counter pick, I mean, you look here, the Jarvan was a counter pick. No, actually, yeah. So every single one of these picks from the Doomscrollers was picked after their lane opponent. So they got counterpick in all 5 rows. The difference, again, being the flex picks WA brought out. So I will be curious to see how that kind of plays out, because, again, I don't think they expected this Swain. I think that's going to be the big question mark, is most likely the Victor being brought out mid here, expecting that to be a Swain, and that's not going to be the case. So I'll be curious how Kuzu plays that out into the Nefiri. And as well, full-on counter pick, I mean, no flexing involved, was for the Aatrox there in top lane. A lot of bans in the Warriors of Æsir thrown towards Lupin there, Doomscrollers top laner. So he arrives at the Aatrox, in which he has a number of games. I mean, that is most played. He has a ton on the Swain, actually. But Cassante, you know, by and large, his biggest. Didn't have access to Door, and that was banned away. So with those bans, he falls back in the Aatrox. And seems to like it into the Volibear. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. In the meantime, we are going to head to a quick break here. We've got our Spectre delay. We're going to be a few minutes. Go ahead, grab some popcorn. Get a drink. We'll be gone for a few minutes here. When we return, it's game number 1 of the Warriors of Æsir versus the Doomscrollers. We'll be cheering for WA here, our hometown crowd. And welcome back, everyone. Here we go. We have loaded in the Rift, and already a little bit of damage here down onto Ulfwald's Nefiri. Oh, and my logo is looking a little interesting, aren't they? See if we can't fix that real quick. Oops. We're just a little offset, aren't we?
Minions have spawned.
We'll fix it. So Silver and Soup. I know Soup really loves to get this ward. Okay, nice early pull there by Silver. Now some poke back onto Soup. It's taking about half his health bar already. And there's that ward down. Yeah, so Soup, I know, really loves to get control of the lane early on. I know as an AD carry, I definitely love that. He usually tends to like to get that ward down there in the middle of the middle bot lane brush. So make sure that you don't get jumped on, you know, enemy bot lane runs in and waits for you, jumps at you level 1. Not going to happen against Soup. And I think they're didn't opt for the ward, but did opt for getting that control by just standing there in the brush. But unfortunately, a lot of poke there coming out from the Karma. I laned with Soupbank's Karma, and I saw firsthand how much damage that does. Not great to be playing against it. Now pull back under the turret they go! Kink takes a turret shot, so a ton of damage despite the early level 2. Swain Silver actually making them pay. And now level 2 dinged over WA's bot lane, so I kind of figured the Karma would get that early level 2, the early push, and that's exactly what happened. We do see both junglers kind of padding towards top here. And my apologies for the logos. I will remedy that as soon as I can here. I'm going to cast and edit my OBS at the same time. Not recommended. So Mello already getting a lot of early damage down here top lane. And I mentioned Mello, of course, plays the volley, but plays a lot of the Aatrox too. So I know we'll be hoping that he's got the knowledge of this matchup, able to take advantage of it. He's pushing in pretty far now, and you see Euler is looking top, and here he comes. Mello has no ward to spot this out. Holdmather's on the way. He'll be taking Scuttle, so he can path here right now. Already Mello, this advance is going to come out from Euler, and there it does. Knocked back. The chains. Mello forced to flash, still taking damage. They don't opt for chasing under turret, and it looks like watch a pull here. Holdmather actually going to gank mid here. I mean, a lot of damage coming out. Do they have enough? Yes! First blood going over to Foldmather. E2 combo and a ton of poke here. Silver forced to flash. They do get the root. DS carry has no mana. I wonder if Soup maybe pushes this. He does still have heal. Oh, now the flash. The heal can be burned. You got to use it, and he does. Still a ton of damage coming out. It's going to be traded 1 for 1. We'll see if maybe Soup can continue. Does get the root. I think he can push this, but the barrier... Yeah, gotta be careful. It's gonna be close to the barrier available for carry. And so close there. Kink my boot with the flash. It actually doesn't heal on the Karma, so could have survived there. So both supports with heal and only Soup using it. Winds up being a 1 for 1. Both supports getting the kill as well. Yeah, my fellow AD carriers know that feeling all too well. Mello taking a ton of damage here. Lupin... Here's the shield for Mello, but he has no flash. Lupin could chase this. His cooldowns are coming back up. Mello knows. Conqueror fully stacked now for Lupin chasing. There's the knockup. Needs a bit more. Mello just trying to dodge the sweet spot. Gets the heal. Now gets the stun. Trying to get out. Forces the flash at least out of Lupin, but that is going to tie things up 2-2 in the kill department. Maybe we have a quick break here enough that I can fix these logos. How about that? That would be cool. see Carry with a bit of a bot lane. Okay, here we go. Kuzu getting dove again. The stun gonna come down into full Mather, so he's not here to help. Ulfald under the turret, gonna die, taking so much damage. Oh no, this could be a disaster for WA. The flash, the cataclysm, it's not enough. And yes, they kill the Victor, but not the outcome they wanted. It's gonna be a 1 for 2 in favor. And unfortunately, it is gonna be that feat of warfare going over to the Doomscrollers. Watch out though, pull on to Carry. Pretty good damage here from WA. And I'm curious how close Supank is to level 6. Yeah, pretty far. Silver just hit 5 as well, yeah. They know where Maokai is. Hello, still taking a lot of damage. Level 6, actually level 7 now for Lupin, so that 2-level advantage has the Tunneler as well. Really tough for Mellow to lane right now, and Grub's going over to Euler Fan. Fullmether not in the area, is going to trade it here for the Ocean Drake. And I wonder if he will look bot lane. A lot of wards are going to spot him out, but they know there's no jungle support here, and I mean, yes, carry is low. Yeah, there's the wards, but I wonder if they don't try something here. And Ulfald's kind of patting down bot like he wants to try. Meanwhile, dive top here. Euler Fan's going to take a bit of damage. And actually, for some reason, Kick My Boot tries to contest this Drake. Doesn't get it and just dies. And there's the first kill of the game there for Ulfald. But that dive top lane, meanwhile, a lot of damage. And Kuzu could be in trouble here. Cataclysm not available yet for Full Mather, but still flashless is the Victor. Supank is even here. He can throw in an auto attack, or at least a heal for the assist. Ignite. Burning, but Full Mather picks up kill number 3 on the Jarvan. He has 3 of WA's 5 now. And Ulfald up 20 CS here mid. A lot of attention here mid from the Warriors of Æsir. Ulefan is here, but already used the ultimate top, so it doesn't have a great way to get in here. Just trying to keep that wave away from the turret. Buy some time for Kuzu to come back. Doesn't have his teleport back just yet. Sheen picked up by DS Carry top to the bot lane, so that is going to make a difference. Lupin cruising towards, I believe that will be a Sundered Sky, if I'm not mistaken. Still getting used to some of these build paths. 3 kills on Full Mather's Jarvan, 2 on Kuzu's Victor, both from that botched dive in mid lane, but WA returned and got a kill. Did not shy away after that last mistake, and paid off the most recent exchange. Bot lane, 24 CS lead for DS Carry. Mellow, 0-2 now here, down about 25 CS as well. So definitely the advantage here, jungle and mid for WA. But bot lane, down some CS, but certainly I think staying afloat. You'd love to, I know, if I was in their shoes, I would be frustrated that we weren't able to get a kill beyond the 1 onto, well, I guess they have the 2 as well from somebody contesting the Drake. But here we go. Now Full Mather coming in. Cataclysm. Flash burned by the Karma. Not even going to bother with the heal. DS Carry could be in trouble too. Kuzu's coming down. Gotta be careful. Ulefan is coming in. They gotta kill this Corki and get out right now when they do. But here comes Ulefan. He has 1 kill already. Silver is pretty low. Doesn't have the ultimate still going. And here comes the Arcane Storm from Kuzu. Needs a little bit more damage. Ulfald's on the way. He should be here in time to kill the Maokai. And here he comes in. The dogs are biting. They do take down the Maokai. Silver buying as much time as he can, and it is a lot. He might live, and he does. Ulfald here in time for the cleanup, and overall, it's great for the Warriors of Æsir. Mellow actually uses the flash there just to get a little bit of trade back down to Lupin, but gotta be careful. World Ender is here. Here comes Mellow trying to trade back. Under the turret goes Lupin, takes 1 turret shot, but heals enough to live. Another kill there on to the Volibear. Trade of flashes by both top laners, so seems nothing could happen on this map without some kind of response on the opposite side. Bloodbath at 10 minutes, 9-8.
Never falter.
Oh, look at that. 10 minutes, I finally fixed the logos. Meanwhile, Karma gonna go down once again. Demonic Ascension here from Silver, and he has his 4th kill of the game on this Swain. So I talked about bot lane being behind. excuse me. Not the case at all with Mello now with, with Silver now with 4 kills, but Mello in a lot of trouble. Here comes Cold Mather, Cataclysm up in a few seconds. Ulfold on the way. Here we go. Kuzu does not have prio. He's not even close. It's a 3 versus 2. Euler fan, flashless, ultimate coming up soon. They've got to kill him quickly before he turns this into a botched power dive, and they do. The Demacian standard finishes it off for Fold Mather. Now Lupin could be in trouble. Ignite down, helping to stop that healing. There's the Cataclysm from Fold Mather. I think my boot is here, and so is Kuzu. Finally, Arcane Storm is up if he wants to try, but he won't. He'll just pick up the wave, make it 12-8 in WA's favor, 2,000 gold lead, and some grubs. Gotta be careful, though. Karma's here, and we'll try to contest, and did not get that one. That one did go to WA. Ulfold, 3 kills, has the Youmu's completed on the Nefiri. So we're just messing with carry, but we're curious about this grub take. It is 3 now for WA, and again, the Karma. Here comes the teleport from Lupin. Lupin coming in, he'll have World Ender. WA has got to get out of here. Full Mather could be doomed right away. Flag and drag out. Over the top comes the Dawning Shadow from Supank. Oh, nice blast cone there from Ulfold. Mello's got to get out, though. Doesn't have the ultimate, doesn't have the flash. He can't. Arcane Storm finishes him off. Meanwhile, Euler fan has come in bot. Silver trying to stay alive. Can't pop the ultimate. Supank flashes, not able to save him with the heal. I wonder if he can extend this, but got to be careful. Maybe he can kill DS carry, but barrier available for the Corki. Not even needed. Both bot laners for WA fall. And just when things were going well, they get the grubs. All of a sudden, 3 more kills handed over to the Doomscrollers. And that should be a Drake. Euler fan might be hesitant to do this. I think he is starting it up. Yeah, so this is an interesting call here. I mean, there's nobody even close. I mean, Carry has to recall, and I think Euler smartly just actually, he's still hanging around. I mean, no ultimate, I guess just going for the steal. He should fall now. Cataclysm, and there's another kill for Ulfold. So, not the worst thing in the world for Doomscrollers, but I don't know that you have business contesting that. I mean, DS carry had to recall there, so I guess you're just hoping, go for a steal. If you don't get it, you die. Not the worst thing, but 4 kills on Fold, 4 kills on Ulf, 4 kills on Silver. Wild, no pull here, kick my boot, Demonic Ascension. Under the turret they go, Silver trying to tank this as long as they can, but they're trying to juggle aggro, and that turret is really charging up. Brawl. Fairly clean dive, though. Nobody falls, but a lot of low health bars. WA, though, they get the Drake, they get the Maokai, they get the Karma, and now they get back to base, make some key purchases here. Ulfold cruising towards that second item. Meanwhile, top lane, there goes those turret plates, so very, very vulnerable. Remember, it's hard to remember in these 25 kills in 14 minutes, but the first 3 kills did go over to the Doomscrollers. However, the objectives have definitely been controlled by WA. Just about all of them. They lost 3 grubs, then took 3. They've had both Drakes. So that first turret is going to be key. And you see bot lane and top lane both pretty low for WA. And Mello, 0-4, going to have a really hard time protecting this against Lupin. I mean, if they want to get the feats, and I know people have discussed, you know, maybe the feats are not quite as important as they seem to be early on in this season, but regardless, you really question how they can achieve that, given how low that turret is. Mello at least has flash, has the ultimate, can maybe try to parlay that into buying a bit more time, but not a ton of urgency here from WA regarding the turret, so I wonder if they're not super concerned about that feat. Old Mather, though, oh no! Euler fan just walks in and smites it, and now with a Bramble Smash and a Blast Cone, he is gone. Takes the Gromp for his trouble, and yeah, okay. So I stand corrected. Obviously, Fold Mather padding top, trying to protect that top lane turret. Trying to make sure, knowing Mello will need some help to keep that turret standing. But I think perhaps Silver and Supank have just given it up bot lane. Ulfald taking a ton of poke damage here from Kuzu's Victor. He does have that torch now. Meanwhile, 2 versus 2 top. Lupin's very strong. World Ender popped. I don't know if WA wants this. The healing is going to be massive. Mello apparently does, but he just falls. Now Full Mather has to get back on the turret. Needs a flash. Needs to get over to Silver, and he will die. Gives over a shutdown to Lupin. Kill number 3. Now Silver just trying to protect this turret. Ulerfan's very low. He can't help out the Aatrox. I don't know who's going to heal more here. A big question. I mean, Silver actually flashes out there. I think with the Sundering Sky, it's going to be hard. But now mid lane, the next target. Ulfald should be able to protect this, I think. And bot lane did fall, so that is the feat going over to the Doomscrollers. So now a ton of damage from Ulfald. Arcane Storm, root there from the Karma, doesn't matter. The damage is massive, and Ulfald continues to press. Flash by King Maboot gets the Karma out. Now Ulfald taking a ton of damage from that Karma, and here comes the rest of the Doomscrollers. He could be in a lot of trouble, has the flash, and he will. Full Mather here, Ulfald padding back towards the Raptors. Full Mather just running interference, and under the turret goes the Maokai. That turret may very well fall. Meanwhile, 1 versus 2 top lane. A ton of damage down to the Aatrox. No World Ender. Maybe they can kill him under turret if they go. Somehow Karma survives the sliver of HP. Cataclysm here on to the Maokai, who will fall. Ulfald, though, dies to DS carry, and Full Mather might be next on the chopping block. Dodges the missile at least. My boot's so low. Mello actually just walked to your bot lane. Knowing they already lost that turret, might as well help secure that 3rd Drake. And you see the pings there, 45 seconds out. That's going to be the next target for WA. Down about 1,500 gold, at least up 2 Drakes. It could be key if they can get to that Drake soul point. Minutes in now. 16 to 14 in kills in that top lane. Turret is going to fall, so that's 2 outers already down. The Doomscrollers have taken them. They've got a 2,000 gold lead. DS Carry has the Triforce, cruising towards that Merman. It's going to be big. Here comes Ulerfan with the ultimate. DS Carry, there's the engage. He dodges away from the flag and drag. This could be trouble for WA. Redemption coming in. Silver is so low, trying to heal on this way, and at least gets a pull, gets back out. Lupin's in the back line, and this could be huge from the Aatrox. World Ender already 1 kill. Chasing further, Arcane Storm onto 3 from Kuzu. The damage is massive for the Doomscrollers, and this team fight is a complete disaster from the Warriors of Æsir. Ulfald still going, trying to get away. Ulerfan looking for that W cooldown, see if he still goes in. Bramble Smash. He backs off. Lupin, though, pushes, needs a bit more damage onto Soupbank, and he will fall to the death ray from Kuzu. 2 members of WA die. The mid lane outer falls. They full-on engage on the DS carry and just could not find him. Ulerfan and Kick My Boot were able to kite back. So much damage into Lupin. I wonder if Mello looks here. Doesn't have flash. Ulfald will. Doesn't have ultimate or flash himself. They're chasing. The rest of Doomscrollers are here. Full Mather over the wall. Not able to get that steal. Ulfald chasing. If he looks, we'll have the ultimate in maybe 20 seconds. And recall's just coming through. I think WA trying to at least grab a turret for their trouble on the reset here, but Kuzu is there. He's full HP. He's practically full mana, and we all know Victor Rave Clear. He will not let that happen.
Never falter.
I mean, you see the kills here stacking up on the mid lane, bot lane, and jungler for WA. It's not really materializing in these team fights. You can see they really have the capability in kind of skirmishes, 1v2s, catching people, but the full-on team fights there with Lupin, fed 2 items on the Aatrox, able to disrupt. They just were not able to get on top of anybody, and when you have Maokai and Karma there, as well as Kuzu on the Victor, it's so hard. Not a lot of PL. Okay, Kuzu versus Ulfald, Arcane Storm, Ulfald burning down, a little bit more damage. Ignite onto Kuzu. Not enough. And in the 1v1, Doomscrollers mid laner comes out on top.
All will crumble.
WA left looking for answers here. They lost that Drake. They go on to Karma, get the flash at least. Ultimate burned by Silver. Redemption coming out. Here comes Yulafan, the ultimate. This could be trouble. Silver could be caught. He should go down immediately. Yes, Dotting Shadow not enough. Looking for the kill on a DS carry. Maybe Supank doesn't have the flash. Needs a bit more damage. Q does not connect onto the Corki. Barrier was actually not up. I don't know if Carry would have had time to flash away from that, perhaps. But Rift Herald going to be the next target with the bot lane of Team WA falling. And no, Mello could be the next target before the Rift Herald, and I think he will be. Has the ultimate, but not the flash, and just trying to buy time. But there's not a lot for WA to do elsewhere on the map. They can't threaten Atacon right now, and he's just going to go down. It's only a question of who wants the kill, and it goes over to the victor. Cruiser now with 7 kills. Old Mather should be able to get out of this, just kind of trading with Lupin. Stacking up the Conqueror, maybe hoping to buy time for Ulfwald to come in, but even with the 2 of them, I mean, level 14 Aatrox, you question if they're going to be able to kill him. They kind of need to. If they could do that and threaten Atacon, that's kind of their best bet. They got to go right now, and they can't. He's back under the turret. Lupin, despite being 4-1, I mean, he's being careful. And now WA starts Atacon, but I don't know about this one. It's going to take a long time, plenty of time for Doomscrollers to push some lanes or come down here bot. I mean, you can see the thought process the Warriors Vicer want to answer with something on the bot side of the map, knowing Rift Herald was taken, but, you know, not able to find the Aatrox, not able to start the objective, and now the Doomscrollers may very well just start taking it. A 5,000 gold lead has now developed in favor of the Doomscrollers. They also have 3 turrets. The objective stacking that WA had done such a good job of early on, totally falling off. Having a really hard time pushing waves against the Corki and the Victor. And the Karma as well. Certainly has some great wave clear if called upon. Maybe Mello can grab this top. He doesn't have enough of a wave for it, though, and I think by the time that next wave is there, it's going to be Lupin showing up. Okay, looking for Kuzu. They do get the root there. And yeah, you can see here, I mean, yeah, that turret's still pretty healthy. Next Drake coming up in under a minute. WA resetting in preparation for that. You can see a lot of armor here from Mello, definitely playing against the Aatrox matchup there. But definitely stinks if he's here in these dragon fights when you're talking about a Maokai, a Victor, a Karma, even a little bit of magic damage went up from the Corki. Since they changed that to mostly true damage, it's not as much. He's still more physical damage focused, but regardless, a lot of tools to break through this Volley Bear. No Grievous on the side of the Doomscrollers, at least. Not yet. That's something. Also keep an eye on that Seeker's Arm Guard for Kuzu. 7 kills in this Victor could be WA's target, but if he's able to strategically use that cooldown, that could result in another team fight that went just like the one we saw a few minutes ago, where WA engaged on a carry. That time it was Corki and weren't able to do anything. Supank could be in trouble here. Gets the root into Lupin. Silver is here, but level 15, and Supank level 10. Flash by Lupin. Flash followed by Supank. The Aatrox is going so far in here. Meanwhile, the rest of WA just kind of looking for some kind of route in here. Finally, the Karma joins, and Silver is going to run out of mana here. Maybe Foldmather can go in on the Aatrox here, but he's hesitant. The Dotting Shadow comes out. Silver, there's the pull. They should be able to find the Karma. This could be big. Cataclysm here onto the Aatrox. They have to take him down before he can heal, and they do. Mello teleports in. The Dragon went down, but can WA find anything else? Already, Mello melted instantly. Talked about the AP damage just burning through. And Foldmather and Mello both instantly evaporate in that team fight. Here comes Ulfwald. He will take down the Corki in the blink of an eye, but won't push it further against Kuzu. That Victor is so powerful right now. Fan doesn't have the ultimate, has the flash. Now Ulfwald's going to go in. Flash by Kuzu to get away. You can see Ulfwald trying to be so careful, and now here comes the Maokai, knocking Ulfwald right into trouble. Deathray doesn't connect. Flash backwards. Supank trying to protect him. Can't do it. Silver falls as well. Kuzu is low. We'll see if Supank can finish him off. No. Make it a double for Doomscrollers mid laner. 10 in this game. And all the attention mid lane in the first 10 and 15 minutes of this game. And at the end of the day, it's still a 10-kill victor. Needed the flash, but still has not even used that Seeker's arm guard. Kuzu popping off here in game number 1. WA only able to pick up one turret. It was the top lane outer. And now resets coming through from the Doomscrollers. You can see how much vision there is concentrated around the Baron pit by the Doomscrollers. Almost impossible for WA to go in here, and they start this Baron immediately. And question mark ping, so WA is aware, an advantage of Swain being able to check that. Oh, that's over. Gonna walk right into trouble here. Demonic Ascension, they've got to protect him. He's gonna get melted down if they don't, but so much damage coming out here from the Aatrox. World Ender continues. Supank next on the menu. He will fall flashless. This Senna will fall back over the wall. Mello might need to ult away. Focus. Looks like he should be okay. Hang on, though. Now he will. Ulerfin still pushing here. Under the turret they go. Maybe WA can take advantage of this. Tanking right now is the Aatrox. Cataclysm now only traps the Maokai. Mello taking a lot of damage. Will heal quite a bit, but still not able to take down that Aatrox. Lupin unkillable right now. The only Grievous is on Foldmather, and it requires the auto attacks with the Bramble Vest. That's the one disadvantage. We see the Serpent's Fang as well from Ulfald trying to contend with all this shielding, the Karma, and even the Victor. But WA really struggling to find any way back into this game. Down 7,500 gold. Root there on the Aatrox, but you know, a lot of damage to burn through him. Foldmather knocked in. There is the flag and drag, maybe, but the heals are massive onto the Maokai. They're not able to burn down Ulerfan. Now Lupin over the wall he goes. Here comes the Carry. Supank taking so much damage. Silver does not have the ultimate. He needs about 5 more seconds. I don't think he has it. World Ender popped again by Lupin. Here comes the Vines here from the Maokai. Ulerfan, twisted advance, pushing further. Mello at least finally one kill onto the Maokai, but Lupin still full HP. Will fall back out of the mountain he goes. Last man standing for WA. Ignite to try to stop some of this healing. Trying to dance around with the help of the Fountain Laser to maybe get something, but this game has just been a disaster for WA. Ulfald trying to get one kill, maybe onto the Corki. No, with a sliver of HP. DS Carry survives, and the Doomscrollers triumph in game 1. 33-20 in kills. 28.5-minute win. And you can see the damage charts there. Lupin on the Aatrox with 34k. Of course, some of that is the old top laner slap fight, just farming it up top lane, but was definitely a force to be reckoned with in these fights. And certainly credit to Kuzu in the mid lane as well. Definitely tanked a lot of dives and ganks and attention there in the mid lane and came out on top of it, scaled his way into an 11-5 kill score. And after those first 10 minutes, WA really had no answer. So we'll see adaptations, we hope, of course, for our team in game number 2. For now, we head to a quick break. When we return, it will be the draft for game 2 of the Warriors of Æsir versus the Doomscrollers. Don't go anywhere. And welcome back, everyone. We are already in. That was fast. Already in to the draft for game number 2. WA down 1-0, backs against the wall. Need 2 wins in a row here to take this series home. Doomscrollers up a game. Started off with Ash here, first pick on blue side. The bans, pretty similar to game number 1. Still getting Full Masters Master Yi out of the way. Maokai, though, now banned by WA. Felt like that was too much of a problem. It's a champion we have seen WA struggle against in the past as well, against other teams too, so I think makes sense there. Sticking with the other bans, though, I'm curious if the Cassante does come out. That was sacrificed in this ban phase. Now, WA looking at the Zac and seeing what to pick for Silver here in the bot lane. It is going to be the Ezreal into the Ashe. So maintaining that Zac flex pick. But unlike the Swain before, now we do know, of course, we're seeing Ezreal mid, Ezreal top. This is Ezreal down there in bot lane for Silver. The Zac, though, we could see Full Master take it. We could see Mello take it top, depending on how the draft proceeds. Doomscrollers opting for the Gwen, so the Cassante open, and Doomscrollers probably doing their homework, aware that Mello could be taking this top, so I imagine this is a pick that Lupin likes into the Zac, or possibly blind. So they take the Gwen, and then the Poppy, great into the Zac as well. I do wonder if they don't send maybe a Gwen jungle. Double check. It is something that Euler fan plays. So I do wonder if we don't just see, possibly this is a flex pick, or we just send the Gwen jungle and just put the Poppy top here for Lupin. We'll see what they opt to do. I mean, Lupin plays they both play the Gwen. So we'll have to wait and see as the next ban coming out, WA looking at banning the Swain, which is kind of interesting. I mean, the main guy who plays that is going to be Kuzu. So while it is something Wolfwald and Silver both play, it is also the most played champion for Kuzu, their mid laner. But even on the Victor, that he has a, frankly, not an amazing KDA or win rate on 8 games so far, Kuzu looked fantastic on that Victor. So I wonder about banning against him, what effect that will have. The Syndra an option, and I wonder if that is going to be the next ban, taking that away, or maybe taking the Victor away from Kuzu. It did look pretty good. Karma actually banned by the Doomscrollers. They brought that pick out to pretty good effect last game, and excuse me, the Syndra already picked here by WA. It's happening between too many tabs here at the same time. Syndra already picked here by Ulfwald. I know he's comfortable on that pick, so I'm picking that away pretty good. I do wonder if they ban the Victor or a different champion they don't want to play against. Looking at the play. Yeah, just banning or taking the top 3 picks here away from Kuzu here in mid lane. Still focusing on that. Getting Ulfwald. We'll see what kind of matchup. I mean, maybe just still the Victor again for Kuzu, or if he goes further down his list here. I mean, could see something like a Yone, Ambessa, even a Galio. Orianna Ari, he's got a pretty deep champ pool that we can see at least so far. We'll see what that final ban is going to be for the Doomscrollers, if they opt to continue to ban Supang. They banned the Volibear, actually. And that's another kind of bang for your buck ban, knowing that both Full Master and Mello will play that. Highly likely, by the way, that Poppy is going in the jungle for Euler fan. I know they both Euler fan and Lupin top and jungle for Doomscrollers play the Gwen, but the Poppy player is unquestionably Euler fan. So my assumption would be taking that Poppy in the jungle. And Amumu, look here from Full Master. Okay, so that's going to tell Doomscrollers everything they need to know. Amumu in the jungle here for Fold. Zac pivoting up top for Mello will be into Lupin's Gwen. Doomscrollers now need their final 2 picks. Missing, unless we see something unexpected like a Poppy support, they are still missing a mid laner and a support. So final pick saved here for Supang for WA. And that Galio should be going mid for Kuzu. I mentioned that was one possible pick, so pretty huge engage comp developing here for the Doomscrollers. And Ash can always kind of jumpstart that shot call in some respects with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. And then you can get the Galio and Gwen piling in. Poppy, I wonder what support they do opt to throw into the soup here to finish off this comp. Oh, okay. So that is unexpected. So the Viego comes out. So I think that does send the Poppy down there in support. So I did not expect the Poppy support. I know I mentioned that, but definitely pretty surprised. But looking now, actually, Kick My Boot does play quite a lot of Poppy support. So I missed that. But that is what they're going to be doing, is Poppy down there in support role. They take Viego, Jungle, into Full Mouthers and Mumu. Subank now looking at potentially a Braum. No, make it a Milio. So Milio, Ezreal down there in the bot lane for WA. So definitely a lot of peel, pretty slippery, a bit long-ranged here from WA, but a little curious how this team comp will play out. I think the early identity you see, not necessarily early identity, but pieces of the identity you see with the Zac and with the Amumu is a lot of engage, but really hard to do that into the Poppy. It's going to be hard to do that into the Galio. Even the Gwen can be challenging, especially for the Ezreal and the Syndra. That's really tough. So I don't know. I do think the Doomscrollers are kind of favored in this draft right now. They have a lot of tools for dealing with what WA wants to do. I think WA kind of drafting a bit reactively here. Probably, I know Full Mather has talked to me about Amumu. You know, you don't have to go in on the Amumu. He can be really good at healing. Buying Ezreal some time. Buying Syndra a bit of space. Milio's going to do the same thing. So they can maybe look to extend these team fights. I think if Silver plays to Ezreal pretty effectively, that's something you can be good at. You know, the cooldowns are going to be long for some of these key abilities. So you can kind of play around that. I mean, let Ezreal kind of, you know, kite back a bit with this team comp. I don't know if the Zac necessarily fits into that, but we'll see how much Mello is involved in the skirmishes and team fights later on. I assume he will be, of course, but will be a question. I mean, the Hallowed Mist is a fairly long cooldown. I mean, even with a bunch of CDR, you're still at a minimum, I mean, 15, 20 seconds. Gets down to about 15, maybe 14, 13 with some CDR. It's still a pretty long cooldown. I mean, that's a lot of time in a fight once she's used it, where you maybe have the opportunity to do something. Syndra come in with the Force of Will, able to fire some abilities in, and maybe if these fights are extended long enough, you can start to make it happen. I think definitely it's going to be on Subank and Fulmather how they kind of play these. And I'm curious to Mello as well with the Zac, how exactly the Zac will fit into this team comp. I think it depends on how he plays it in these team fights. I mean, there's not really a backline to go in on here. I mean, I guess you can try to mess with the Ashe, but mostly I imagine in team fights the Zac will just have to try to be disruptive, just buying a bit of space, trying to let Silver and Ulfbald kind of kite here, stack up the damage, maybe, you know, get a Poppy or a Galio or even a Viego to kind of overextend a bit, as they might do, pushing the advantage, pushing that fight. And maybe you try to respond in that way, make the fight last long enough that they kind of overextend and you take somebody down, all of a sudden you're 5v4, maybe 5v3, and now you can do whatever you want. But that even assumes a pretty even situation. I mean, you got to make sure you're not going to, you know, have botch dives where you're handing over a bunch of kills to somebody, or you're, you know, just having some solo kills happening. I mean, you can't have people coming out of lane phase, you know, like the Aatrox, like the Victor, you know, whether ahead or at least surviving enough that they scale into being super strong, and then just have just a terror on the ref. You have no way to deal with it. So I think you have to stop that from happening. But overall, it's looking scary for WA. We have hope. We hope they can take us to a game 3. We had to do a quick break. When we return, we found out if they can do it.
Summoner's Rift.
Welcome back, everyone. We're here once again for some more League of Legends action, and this time it is game number 2. It is WA backs against the wall, unfortunately.
Or go home.
We'll have to pull off a reverse sweep, miniature reverse sweep, I suppose, considering we're just about to 3 here, in order to triumph in this series. And Mello and Fullmouth are going to walk right into Kuzu here on the Galio. Winds of War get the first points of damage in this game too. Lupin here along with Mello. Should be okay. Sometimes you get into situations where you wonder, in these level 1s, if you're forced to level a particular ability, which hopefully you have not leveled one already, if you could be in trouble. And something I noticed key here, Supank did not get that ward down, and they don't have early control of that mid lane brush. So I wonder what will happen here. I mean, you know Poppy loves to have these level 1s. There's a bit of damage here. DS carry. Only a bit. Oh, there's the stun from the Poppy, although ultimately traded pretty effectively back by WA's bot lane, so I don't know that that's really huge. Potions actually burned by the Doomscrollers bot lane. Cookies for both AD carries popping in, you can see. Not that Milio is an incredibly abusive laner, but does have the range advantage. Not enough here to get lower level 2. Once again, it's the Doomscrollers bot lane attaining that advantage. Need about 2 more minions here for Silver and Soup to get that level 2 point, and we'll see. They do grab both of those. Still down a couple of minions right now. Ulfald advancing mid lane, getting that push. And I see Silver opting for the Doran's Blade. I know something I've seen a lot is, especially with the tier now, I mean, the tier is kind of a viable starting item, but I know it's something you look at with Ezreal where you'd love to stack that up, but I feel like the way games tend to go in the early levels, having the Doran's Blade stats just tends to be a lot more useful. Usually you can get a pretty quick back. I mean, if things go great, you back and you pick up like a Sheen and a tier. Sometimes you're not going to be that lucky, and you got to pick up like a tier and an Lucent Moat, which is just pretty depressing. But Kuzu expending a lot of mana, but getting a pretty nice trade there onto Ulfald in mid. First strike for Ulf. If you're looking to stack that up, get a little extra gold. Junglers taking opposite paths here. Fullmather towards bot lane, but push now for Silver and Soup. So not going to be a lot of opportunities for him. Probably just a trade of Scuttle Crabs. Mello taking a lot of damage from Lupin's Gwen here in top lane. Gotta be careful. Potential for a dive here. And I wonder if that's something Eulerfan will risk, not being level 6. Okay, Mello makes the Gwen take a turret shot there. That will help him out just a bit. And Eulerfan hangs out, waits for those Raptors, and does steal them away. Now Fullmather comes in, looking for the gank on Kuzu. We'll see if with a bandage toss, maybe they can force a flash. We need a bit more damage. Oh no, the taunt of the turret! Fullmather goes down. WA pushed it too far in mid, and first blood goes. Now Ulfald, see, has to flash. Kuzu with the follow. Nicely done by Ulf to out of trouble there. Flash burn by both mid laners, and Mello should have the passive. We will double check that. Yeah, at least has Cell Division here, but it's sure looking like it might get procced just as an afterthought by Lupin with the damage he is dishing out. Now Mello, and he goes trying to get a few of these under the turret. He's down 16 CS as we speak. CS leads across the board for the Doomscrollers. And we'll see where Fullmather looks next. Really a disaster there in mid lane. You use Flash, both mid and jungle, and wind up giving over first blood. Kuzu who opts for those early Merc Treads, getting a ton of mileage out of that. The sole physical damage threat is Silver's Ezreal right now, so a lot of pressure going to be on him. And you can see he did pick up that tier. He got tier and longsword, so that definitely feels better, you know. Of course, he'd love to have that early Sheen. It really makes you actually a pretty impressive laner, but doesn't always happen unless you get a couple of free kills gifted to you. Wolfall getting poked out of lane here in mid lane. Does not have a teleport either. And Kuzu looking to get that ward down. Yes, he does. And now we'll see if we have a trade. I think grubs are now started here by Eulerfan, and I think Foldmather will start the Drake. Yep. So Wolfall is not here. Soupbank and Silver, I think, are doing a decent job. Yeah, they got this wave pushing in, so level 6 by top laners, by the way. I wonder if we do see an all-in. It's possible. And now, yeah, here comes Kuzu. Wolfall as well, though. Kuzu could be in trouble here. I mean, he cannot contest this. Meanwhile, top lane, Mello is looking. And, yeah. Gotta be careful, though. I mean, okay. Infernal Drake secured, traded for those grubs. Eulerfan picks those up. Yeah, that needlework, I mean, it does so much damage for the Gwen. Now has the blasting wand. I mean, yeah, you've at least got the null magic mantle here. Here we go. Foldmather does not have level 6, though. Wolfall does. Here comes Kuzu with the entrance. Foldmather could be in a lot of trouble here, and he will die for the second time this game. Meanwhile, Mello versus Lupin. Trade of ultimates. Needlework coming out. Mello's going to get popped to the passive. And we'll see if Lupin can kill him in time. I don't think he quite... Oh, yes, he can! One more auto would do it! And there's the feat of warfare for the Doomscrollers. It's disaster in mid and top lane. Mello not only down 34 CS, but dies as well to Lupin. Meanwhile, Foldmather is caught at the Raptors. The Heartbreaker by Eulerfan combined with his mid laner's assistance. Already, the Warriors of Æsir in a rough spot, down 2,000 gold pre-8 minutes. Bot lane, the only place we haven't seen a lot of action here, and there's real Milio. I don't know that you're expecting things to go that way, but you know, we talked about, okay, here we go, and Chen Crystal Arrow looking for the stun. Nicely done by Soupbank, and now more damage, but yeah, Silver has to just his way back out of trouble there. So barrier was actually burned. Oh, nice. Ooh, mystic shot combo there by Silver. So barrier difference here, and Soupbank was actually flashless there, so good thing. And the reflex is there to make sure the Poppy couldn't stun. She interrupts that recall. Silver, not quite enough damage to finish him off, and I'm curious here, what... Oh, I think maybe just out of vision was carry. I was expecting maybe they could kill or at least force a flash there. I know Silver has enough money for Sheen and then some, so I'm sure he'd love to back. That's exactly what he's going to do. Nothing on the map to take, and there we see, picks himself up a Sheen and a Ruby Crystal. So having that Sheen at least is going to help a bit, but again, you talk about the pressure on him to be that physical damage threat. I mean, not a ton of MR coming in just yet, and actually Kick My Boot opting for the cloth armor. But the Merc Treads from Kuzu certainly going to do a lot of work into Wolfbald Syndra in mid lane, and I mean the Amumu as well. You talk about Galio already being hard to gang, now you got double AP into the Galio. Not a great time. Wolfball just about even here in CS. Same for bot lane, top lane. That CS gulf continues to grow. Almost 50 now. Milo trying to do what he can, but you see the damage from this Gwen. Crazy. Now, Needlework pops. Trying to kill Melon. He's a bit more damage. Cannot quite finish off the Zac, although just recalling under turret. I wonder... I think Lupin taking so many turret shots here and actually does execute. Oh, that feels bad. Meanwhile, in mid lane, okay, taunt onto 2, and Shadow Crystal Arrow comes in, hits the Milio. Eulurfan with the flash. Here comes the Poppy just in time. Supank kites back, though. And with that cleanse, it's enough. Silver does get the True Shot Barrage onto carry. No barrier here. Silver could look for a kill, maybe. He's forward. I think an E there and a Q would have finished off carry unless he had a good flash. Ulfald trying to finish off Kuzu, but the Merc Tread's doing enough. Maybe one more auto would do it. No, not quite there. Kuzu with the flash, and now Ulfald ignite onto the Syndra. I think the last one might just... No, not quite enough. So both mid laners slink away. There's just a tiny fraction of health left. And now the Grubs were started by WA, and they are taking all 3. Here comes a teleport. Teleport in from Ulfald as well. Everyone coming towards top lane. Lupin doesn't have the needlework. Here comes a Galio. Here comes Ulfald. Okay, now maybe the Poppy goes too far. No, at least with a steadfast presence. Able to get back out. Foldmaster takes a bandage toss right in the middle of the team. I don't think he intended for that. And that's kill number 5 to the Doomscrollers. So in a situation where it seemed like WA could just kite back and be okay, instead disjointed, maybe a misinput there from Foldmaster, and instead, hang on though, Eulurfan in a lot of trouble here, is going to go down, and Mello picks up that kill. I don't know if the Doomscrollers were hoping for a dive there. Kuzik was heading back mid, maybe miscommunication from them. Carry has stayed here, but, oh yeah, you think if that Mystic Shot connects, definitely playing on a knife's edge here. Silver has to be conscious of maybe somebody showing up, but potential for a solo kill either way. Perhaps they're in bot lane. All summoners available for both AD carries now, so don't have that advantage for WA. And Lupin under the turret, but not proccing the turret, and actually just picks up another plate. Still, turret plates have yet to fall, and almost all of them have been harvested by this Gwen, who is up 70 CS, has 2 kills, already has the Nashers completed. And now this Drake, potentially the next target. WA can take it. They'll get 2. And now Eulurfan onto Foldmather. Kicked backwards. Doomscrollers outnumber them right now. Ulfald is not here. It hasn't been started just yet. They have enough time now. They got to be careful. An Enchanted Crystal Arrow from DS Carry could be what kickstarts this fight, but keeping in mind, of course, one nice thing from this draft, and you know, I don't know that I addressed this, but the Breath of Life from Milio, really key, especially into the Ashe, but indeed any of this crowd control. We saw how effective it was mid, to at least pick up 1 kill there. Now Wolfball taking a ton of damage, has to get out of here. Eulurfan's looking for a dive, has the Heartbreaker. Good go, actually doesn't want to risk it. But we did see that Drake go over to Doomscrollers. Foldmather coming up here, but still going to be first turret. Lupin just concentrating on the turret. And we see there, able... Oh no, now the needlework coming out. This could be big. No, the smite. And the curse of the sad mummy, barely enough to keep Foldmather alive. And I know he's saying on comms right now, he cannot believe that he almost died for that in that 1 versus 2 against the Gwen that was mostly just concentrating on the turret. But regardless, that is going to be feats over to the Doomscrollers' first turret and those first 3 kills. And now Ulfald's come back here with full HP, but here comes the dive. Okay, tanking is Kuzu. Damage coming out. Ulfald has to try to get some damage out of the Galio. 1 more turret shot. Not going to be quite enough. Kuzu surviving with just a tiny bit of HP. Oh, actually, Eulurfan taking damage too. And that really stinks. And actually, Silver maybe could have fired that True Shot Barrage down there, bot, and looked. Now the Ezreal might have to use the barrier, and he does. A ton of damage onto him. Forced to kite back, needs a bit more. Now barrier for DS Carry continuing. A couple more autos onto Supank, who does flash away and survive. Close fight there mid, but it is the Doomscrollers again coming out on top. 3,000 gold lead, 7-3 their kills. And every single one of these plays, WA is really struggling to find any positive outcomes. Keeping in mind, WA is already down 1 game. They have to win here to keep this series alive. can see the Poppy not shying away from just running into the jungle here, knowing steadfast presence. You can kind of just scoot your way back out of a lot of trouble. And now here comes Kuzu. Taunt here onto Silver. Flashless, this does real. Enchanted Crystal Arrow does not connect. And Silver will get back out without any major cooldowns being burned. And yeah, pinging Milio R is Kuzu, but actually was not used. The Breath of Life wasn't used. Meanwhile, Ulfald flashes away from the needlework down here. Bot flash followed by Lupin, still chasing. Meanwhile, stun here onto Foldmather, who flashes back over the wall. And maybe still looks. I don't know if he wants that, though. I think that'd be another ill-fated bandage toss if Foldmather did connect with it. Ulfald flash for flash, does survive here, Bot. And still has the ultimate. But definitely a major challenge here. Okay, here we go. Foldmather may be caught. The knockup from the Galio ultimate. True Shot Barrage is big, though, and already they kill the Diego. But okay, now Mello goes in and gets his passive proc. Silver backing away. It's a big stun from Ulfald, trying to take down the Ashe. They need a bit more, and they do. Ulfald finds the kill. Silver cutting backwards. Now Mello still staying alive out of the passive. He will just about fall to Kuzu. The last auto does it. Meanwhile, they take down the Poppy. And finally, WA finding something here. A key teleport from Ulfald and Mello buying time. We saw the kiting potential there. Now, though, they're keeping it going. Silver, back he goes. He dies to Kuzu. You can see so much magic resist, and without the Ezreal, it's going to be so difficult for them to kill this Galio. The auto attacks are almost their best chance now. Maybe they can kill him. No supports coming in. Kuzu almost kills Supank. If those Winds of War connected, at last they kill the Galio. It took them 30 or 45 seconds to get through that guy in the course of that fight. No mana here, though, on the Gwen. Foldmather still taking so much damage on the auto attacks. Needs an auto attack of his own, and he has it. And he will, again, barely survive, but manage to kill Lupin. So finally, WA biting back a bit of gold here. They get a handful of kills. It wasn't super clean. You see how impactful the Galio is in these fights. But they're able to get that kill on Ullrfan early. Supank, Foldmather, and Mello able to kite away. And again, just buy enough time. That time it bought the time for Ulfald to teleport in. Silver survived right up until the final 1v3 against the Galio, but that fight not enough to turn the tides in this game. Control still for the Doomscrollers. Means Rift Herald is theirs. Summoned here mid. Really hard to defend this turret. The Galio not here, but teleport available. Shot barrage onto a few. That turret does fall, as does the Rift Herald. The Doomscrollers now have a 3,500 gold lead. They want Drake number 2. 5 versus 4, though. Man advantage here for WA. Lupin has teleport. Doomscrollers can pressure that top lane inner. Trade it for Drake. WA, we've often been caught in these situations where you have to make a decision here, and they're saying, Mello, you match the Gwen there top. Difficult here. He's just been Flame Horizons by the Gwen as an item up on this Zac. And a level as well. And now the Gwen teleports in and leaves Mello by himself. And now 5 versus 4 for the Doomscrollers. In goes the Gwen, and Supank is caught and killed. The needlework continues. Silver just trying to do a bit of poke damage here again. Doesn't actually have the Muramana just yet. He needs those 2 items to really start having a big effect in these fights. At least has the Trinity Force. Ulfald not able to find that stun onto the Poppy, and WA, yeah, True Shot Barrage from Silver, just fishing for a steal, doesn't find it. And that Ocean Drake, second of the game now, over to the Doomscrollers. Now Ulfald taunt into the turret. Nobody else to join. Crazy how much a mostly tank Galio can do. And actually, Ullrfan, again, this combination mid-jungle for the Doomscrollers, they have had Ulfald's number. Or, well, they've tried to. Still 3-1 Ulfald, surviving on a sliver of HP several times, but Doomscrollers have been certainly looking his direction a lot. Spirit Visage completed here for Mello. Certainly a nice light on to pick up on the Zac. Silver should have enough gold for that Muramana now. Okay, actually Needlework just to slow here onto Mello, and the steadfast presence means nowhere for the Zac to go. They've got to follow Euler Fan. They need the Curse of Sad Mummy. There's a stun, and True-Shot Barrage finishes off the Viego. Enchanted Crystal Arrow onto the Amuma, but they can still chase. They still go. Flash by Ulfald, and he finds that kill. That's 2 already, and now the next target could be DS Carry's Ashe to get the flash out of the bot laner of the Doomscrollers. But what else? You can see the pings there from WA. They've lost mid lane inner. They have to protect that inhibitor. Gwen will rip through those structures. Ulfald now recalls to make sure that that recall does not get stopped. Looks like it won't, so he'll be back in time. And actually now we have a flank potentially shaping up here. Lupin's going to find Foldmather. Needlework not available, but Supank maybe could be the target here. Here comes Fold onto the Gwen. Silver actually finds himself on the wrong side of this, goes right into the waiting arms of the support of the Doomscrollers. But now stun onto the Gwen, a bit more damage, flash backwards by Lupin, he will fall, and finally the kill goes over to Mello, but still kiting his DS carry. Foldmather again, someone from WA flashes into the Raptor Pit and finds themselves stunned by a Poppy. 2 kills now for the Doomscrollers. Mello goes in, doesn't find anyone with the Elastic Slingshot. A bit more damage onto the Ashe would be enough, but they still cannot get to DS carry. Now Mello will have his passive popped. Ulfald trying to assist as best he can, but so low on HP and finally pays for it. Under the turret goes the Viego. Under the turret goes Kuzu. And even Kick My Boot survives that damage. Low health bars all around, but that is a tilter for the Warriors of Æsir. They lose everybody in a long, protracted fight. They only kill the Gwen. And True Shot Barrage just missing DS carry. Actually, Silver going to still look, and nobody is here. I don't think he knows, but he could just E forward and take down DS carry right there. Finally has that Muramana. I mean, he can do it now, and now he'll look. Here comes the Galio. One more auto attack. Oh, the Mystic Shot doesn't connect. And now Silver's still going. He's going to spot out the Viego. Flash there by Euler Fan. Silver has to get out of here, trying to get his cooldowns back. Stun! Curse of the Sad Mummy. Euler Fan barely does finish off Silver, though. At least a 1-for-1. Meanwhile, Lupin trying to solo Atacon here. I think maybe reconsiders. But even the kills, even the small victories here for WA are always just trade-offs at best. Needlework burned by Lupin there. Mello Elastic Slingshots out of the Gwen's way. And WA now down 6,500 gold. Still looking for their first turret of the game. Ulfald desperately trying to pick that up bot lane, but not sure he's going to be able to get it. I think he can if he just ignores Kuzu, but he'd rather survive. And actually a teleport coming down here bot. Arrow misses, but Lupin is looking. Foldmather is here. This could be bad for WA. Yeah, there's just no way they win this fight. Foldmather knows it, although he could be the next target. He's going to walk right into a Poppy. Actually, I think they just missed each other. I'm not sure that my boot actually saw the Amumu. Maybe not. Yes, carry could be the target. Flashless this Ashe, but gotta be conscious. Kuzu could join the fight. Actually doesn't have the ultimate, so maybe potentially a window there, but it was going to be real hard. Especially with WA just not having a lot of vision around the map. They've got the red side jungle lit up, but that whole area where Euler Fan and Poppy were wandering around, they had no idea where they were. Couldn't risk it. You see the MR starting to come in. Merc treads and more for top, mid, and jungle of the Doomscrollers. And that's just going to make it even harder for Ulfald. Oh, just barely missing that bandage toss is Foldmather. And I wonder about Ulfald's build. I mean, I see the needlessly large rod. I wonder if he just opts for something like a... okay, hold on. No stun here. Arrow comes in. Gonna be okay for now, but Supank very low. Needlework. Mello trying to run interference. Silver taking damage from Carry. Fullmouther is low. Galio joins the fight. Silver aggressively goes forward, takes down the Ash, but pays for it. And WA is being slaughtered. Ulfold's not in the fight. The slingshot. Mello trying to get away. I think maybe he will. He already flashed. Lupin's chasing and now looking, and Mello will fall. The turret not enough to take down Lupin, and Ulfold, the last man standing. It's a nice four-man stun. It actually will kill the Gwen, but now stunned, flashes backwards, trying to get away from the Viego, needs a bit more damage. And barely cannot kill a Euler fan. And how many times have we said that? Somebody from the Doomscrollers just barely making it out of a fight, barely not dying. It's a lot of gold left on the table for WA. They just can't quite drive their point home here. And now that gold deficit continues to grow. 9,000, all but impossible for the Warriors of Æsir to mount a comeback here. Two-shot barrage does not connect there. Foldmather looking. Spots out that there's a Poppy waiting and decides, hey, this is not our soul. Not worth it, although doesn't start the Gromp, so I wonder... Okay, yeah, he just backs out. Doesn't even think they can take the Gromp. Fire kick from Supank. Finds Poppy. That's going to be it. 3 Drakes now over to the Doomscrollers. It's going to be so challenging for WA to really even venture in this jungle. You can see Fullmaster's going to come in and not quick enough there on the smite. Now the Needlework comes out. Mello going to try to come in and try to protect his jungler. Eats that arrow. The fire kick, but look at the damage on the Needlework. And full HP is Lupin chasing down Mello. Pops the passive. Fullmather has the Curse of the Sad Mummy. True-shot barrage, they need a bit more, and they do. Silver still chasing. Aggressively goes in, but it's 1 kill already WA, but a lot of low health bars. Kuzu on the backside has the hero's entrance. WA cannot afford to start another fight. And actually can barely even afford to be near this Viego or the Poppy, either one. Just trying to heal up. At least they kill Lupin. That's it. I don't know if Mello wants this one. Opts not to go. Yeah, you can see the Doomscrollers still just playing around this vision control, looking for picks, knowing that WA has to be aggressive to get back into this game and trying to lure them in. And now the ultimate bait, this Baron. So I say a bait. I don't know if WA has any chance of contesting this. I don't know if they have the slightest clue. No Farsight alteration available for WA. They don't know. Starting to suspect it now, but already 5,000. I mean, Gwen and Ash, they burn through this Baron. It's going to already be gone. Fullmather almost arrives in time, but not quite. And already that Baron goes down. And now I think it could be Lupin, but WA, they can't start this fight. The rest of Doomscrollers are still here. Mello is overextended and already dead. The arrow comes in onto Fullmather. 2 members of the Warriors of Æsir already fall. The rest of them have to get out. But oh no, Eulerfan's taken. Ulfold picks up a stun, finds 2 more. It's a quadra-kill for the Gwen. They're looking for the Penna. Ignite, Silver, under the turret, trying to protect. No, the pentakill for Lupin, and it's an utter disaster for the Warriors of Æsir. 12 kills onto this Gwen, 7 on Kuzu's Galio. And almost like game 1, it took him an extra 30, maybe 45 seconds. But the Doomscrollers triumph, and they will take this series 2-0. And you can see the stats there again. Lupin, top laner with a colossal amount of damage. 36.7k. Silver taken first for WA in the damage department. But a really tough game for WA, whereas game 1, there is some early control here. It kind of felt like things got out of hand very, very quickly. Unfortunately, that will be a 2-0. WA doesn't take home the victory this time or even bring us to a game 3. But we'll hope for better results in the next series. Lose is improve. Learn, practice. That being said, thank you everyone, viewers, and of course our team for putting up a fight. We'll be back next time for the next series. We'll see everybody then. Have a good night.